the 6 o'clock news with Nathan Anderson and Onsby Rhodes on WLIK, Lick Creek, Virginia. The 6 o'clock news. You heard it here first.
Good evening. I'm Onsby Rose. We're on location here in beautiful Lick Creek, Virginia, where not much happens, but when it does happen, you'll know. Our top story tonight deals with a tragic event that occurred last night in New York City, where the Crips and the Bloods fought a battling duel over drugs and money. Over 17 innocent bystanders were pronounced dead on arrival at New York City Memorial Hospital. 42 were injured. In a related story, closer to home, the Briars and the Creeks also broke out into hostile conflict over a chew of snuff. Fortunately, no one was injured. And now WLIK takes you to an interview filmed earlier with one Jordan Will, who is suspected of having a good time trick-or-treating.
Jordan Will Anderson, who I understand had a good time trick-or-treating Thursday night. Did you have a good time, sir?
Sure.
Okay, could you tell us some of the places that you went trick-or-treating?
I went to at Nana's and their malls. I went everywhere.
Yes, he went everywhere trick-or-treating. Could you show us some of the items that you picked up Thursday night on your trip and excursion down Lick Creek? Okay, you need to show the camera there, sir. This here looks like a Kit Kat bar, am I correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and right here we have a Dots Mounds candy here by the Tootsie Company, and also Tootsie Rolls here also, and we have some Super Bubble bubble gum. Am I correct in determining that, sir? And another Kit Kat, and we have Tootsie Roll Pops here. Yes, children who want to come trick-or-treating at the Lick Creek place down here, coming down Lick Creek Road, can have a very good time, can't they, Jordan?
Yes.
That's me, Nathan Anderson.
And now for a paid public service announcement by local headbanger Earl the Satanizer Cumbo, warning you to stay off the grass. That's bluegrass, and never play Ralph Stanley backwards.
Yeah, an American flag.
Dude, man, like, I'm here, to tell you something, right? It's like, last night I had this vision, right? I took Ralph Stanley, dude, and I, played it backwards, and I got this wild obsession to kill these 3 black guys, slaughter a cow, and burn a church, right? So, I, got in deep trouble for it, and I'm sort of here to tell you guys not to do that kind of thing, because it can get you some time, and plus it can, mess your brain up, and plus, stay off that grass, man, the bluegrass, and whatever you do, man, never play Ralph Stanley or the Goins Brothers or the Kentucky River Boys, man. Don't play none of that stuff backwards, okay? It's been a public service announcement from me, Earl Cumbo, right? Listen, man, keep away from the grass.
And now we're back. Early this morning, the creek minnow was determined by scientists to be, in fact, an endangered species. A local law was passed this morning forbidding all trapping, seining, and inflict of death upon creek minnows without a state-issued license. More on that later when WLIK takes you to the Harvey Place, a recently titled historical site where the government has made steps to preserve the creek minnows in a domesticated capacity. And now for a subliminal message. Thank you. WLIK now presents to you a commentary by our own Nathan Anderson. Nathan?
Thank you. I'd just like to say a few words here about a few choice things that's really been on my mind right now. I want you to think about the meaning of life, why we are here, and why we make our lives seem to be so enjoyable. Why do we do this when we know that in fact in approximately so many X years we're going to be dead? What's the use of making our lives fulfilled? Why do we do this sort of thing? Who's to say which religion is right? How can we live our lives without knowing these answers? I mean, I have a hard time myself just trying to make it through each day, not knowing why I'm here, my purpose, if there is a God, if there's a Satan, a heaven, a hell. What's going on here? I don't know. Thank you, Onsby.
Thank you, Nathan. An accident occurred on Lick Creek 3 weeks ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't until now that we had access to bring you the shocking results of this horrendous crash. Here we stand in Lick Creek, Virginia, in front of a 1970 Maverick. This car was involved in a horrendous accident exactly 3 weeks ago. As you can see, here on the rear end, you have scratches, breaks in the body. Right here, you have splits in the paint, and you also have very bad bends. You can rub your hand over this, and it will almost cut you. As you can see back here, on the tail light is pushed in from where it ran into the other vehicle. You also you may think about the reason that we don't have the other vehicle here is because it was torn up so badly in this accident. It just, you cannot tell that it was a vehicle. The vehicle in question has been taken to the junkyard, and they are using what parts they can get off of it, which is not many. And now we're back. Bigfoot has been sighted recently on Lick Creek in Virginia. A few choice residents claim to have seen the oversized primate, and we spoke to a few of them earlier today to discuss their sightings. This just in. Specialists at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania research facilities have found a cure for AIDS. The only drawback of the new drug is that shortly after receiving the therapy, genitalia begin growing all over the victim's face in large amounts. Anyone interested anyway, call 1-800-673-8912. And now back to our Bigfoot story. We'll take you now and hear the testimony of these individuals on their Bigfoot sightings. Force you through it, so don't worry.
With the one Bonisha Anderson, who claims to have seen the Bigfoot running down this road right here. Could we have your testimony, please, ma'am?
Yes, there was a Bigfoot came down the road, and he like to scared me to death. I didn't even know what it was for a minute, and I figured out, and I got scared, and I ran back over to the other side of that building, and I like to never seen that thing run outside. He was going so dang fast.
Are you sure that it was a Bigfoot, ma'am?
Man, he had all the Bigfoot looked like to me.
Did it look like a huge primate dressed in such of a, possibly a gorilla maybe?
Yes.
Okay, and
exactly.
You seen it run down this road right here. About what time was that?
Gee, I don't remember. It was about 1:30, I suppose.
Was it today or yesterday or when?
It was today.
Today you saw that thing. Okay, then we're going to go to another choice resident in this county and hear their testimony on the Bigfoot sighting. Jones, who claims to have also seen the Bigfoot earlier this morning. Where did you see the Bigfoot, ma'am?
Up in the holler above my sister's.
Up in the holler?
It was way up on top of the mountain. I chased it, but I couldn't catch up with it, and I was scared to death.
Did you happen to get any camera shots or take any shots at it?
I didn't have a film in my camera.
What about, say, weapons? Any gun control or anything that you tried to fire at the beast?
No, throwed rocks at it.
Throwed rocks at it, but you didn't seem to penetrate it at all.
No, he was too big. Why, he was much fur on him. The rock wouldn't have penetrated nothing.
Are you sure that this was a Bigfoot?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Well, thank you, ma'am. And that's the two testimonies we have today from the Bigfoot sightings. I'm Nathan Anderson. Back to you, Onsby.
Thank you, Nathan. And now we go to the Harvey place, where the government is taking steps to preserve the creek minnows.
This is the famous Harvey place, where a house used to sit over there next to the road now that is made where the government uses to preserve the creek minnows. There's a facility up on the hill, an office that the government uses to preserve these creek minnows. Now over here in the creek is the little farm that we have the minnows living in right now, which is usually called minnows by the people around here, is what we're using it as. There are many minnows that live from down there where the road crosses the creek and up to the head of these waters. The government over here, up the side of this road here, has, like I said, a headquarters that they use to preserve those creek minnows. That's where they get a lot of their phone calls and a lot of their mail and things that they need to preserve the creek minnows. Now, down here in the creek, there are many minnows that we'll take a look at in a minute when we get up to the bridge. Thank you. You can see here is yet another preservation site for the creek minnows. You can see maybe I'd say 1,000 of the little suckers down in there where the government has put in here to keep all people away to preserve the creek minnows. These are here for a reason, because they have recently been declared, as you know, endangered species by the scientists in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So these creek minnows will stay here until another flock of them can be aroused and some of their eggs can be hatched. Thank you. Hi, I'm John Candy from Ace Hardware, and I want you to buy one of these new Task Force Craftsman lawnmowers from Ace Hardware. They got 12 horsepower, 6 speeds, and a double 38-inch cut blade, and heck, most of them run. Just go out and buy you one.
Now from Columbia Pictures. Be horrified. Be scared out of your wits. Go to a movie theater near you and see The Pump House Boogeyman. Yes, The Pump House Boogeyman, showing in a theater near you. Be thrilled and scared and terrified as The Pump House Boogeyman tries to kill you.
Coming to a theater near you.
Anderson here with an Associated Press hearing here live at Lick Creek, Virginia, for the weather report. Yeah, right here we have weather going on. The sun is like right over there, so I guess that's west. You can't see the sun, so don't try to pan over there. And down here we have our creek. Hey, wind is blowing. It's about say approximately 45 degrees. No clouds in the sky. Don't look like it's going to rain. So we'll just get straight to the forecast on WLIK. You might want to cut.
Yes, right here is the WLIK forecast. As you can see over in Kentucky, one little smidget raindrop is flying, but there's still floods. And over in Lick Creek we have snows and tornadoes. And down in Bristol it's 89 degrees, and it's 75 in Abingdon. And it's also, there's a toilet bowl in North Carolina, and there's thunderstorms in Boone. And there's smoke in West Virginia, and there's fires up near Blacksburg. And that is today's forecast on WLIK. And now for the sports and Onsby Rose.
Hello, I'm Onsby Rose. I'm your sportscaster here on WLIK. The Associated Press has determined that there was sports play today, and a few teams won and a few teams lost also. We have our own Nathan Anderson to talk about what went on today in sports. Nathan.
Yeah. Well, there were a few things that happened today in sports. There were football games played, a couple hockey games. You know, of course, baseball's over. They're warming up for basketball and everything, and I expect somebody to win the championship in basketball. And I also expect somebody to win the Super Bowl in January, but I don't know who that is. But I guarantee somebody will win it. And that's probably all that's happening in sports right now. Back to you, Onsby, for closing arguments here at the WLIK News.
Thank you, Nathan. We would like to thank you for joining us today on WLIK for our news report, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We really will.
We now interrupt this program to bring you an NBC News special weather report.
We wrong when we said there would be no weather. There is weather, and it's in the form of ice, and there looks like there'll be more. Here's some views of what happened last night. You've heard it once, hear it again.
It's the WLIK News with Nathan Anderson at Onsby Rose, Channel 3.
Stay tuned for Channel 3's Onsby Rose with News on the Toilet.
Good evening, I'm Onsby Rose and this is WLIK from Lick Creek, Virginia. Our top story tonight is the story of a crazed killer. WLIK has received word of yet another crazed killer on the loose. As a matter of fact, we have some file footage of one of his many killings he is associated with. Let's take a look. My goodness. A police tip tells us this 4-year-old is Jordan Will Anderson. If you see him, do not, and I repeat, do not try to apprehend him. Police are working on the matter. In another story, President Clinton speaks with us about his cabinet the other day. He says that it would be holding china, glasses, and much silverware. And now we'll go to our one and only Creek camera. Let's go for that shot.
Yes, Onsby, here we are at our creek camera. The water seems to be flowing along just perfectly fine here. No danger of flooding or underflow here. Looks like a great day for the creek. It's a little muddy because of the rains, but the creek seems to be moving along just fine. Now back to you, Onsby.
Cat food.
Thank you for that wonderful creek shot, Nathan. We can see that the creek is just fine now. And speaking of our own Nathan Anderson, he seems to have had some problems with his car this morning. Now we'll go live to the exact vehicle that he was in and let him tell you exactly what happened. As you can see, there was no major damage done to the vehicle. And now we'll go to Nathan to find out exactly what did happen. Nathan, what exactly did happen?
Well, I don't rightly know exactly what happened. I was driving along and I come into this curve and the rear end broke loose with me. I was all over the road. I didn't know what to do. I fought the steering wheel. I tapped the brakes because I knew not to lock them up. The car eventually straightened out, but I'm telling you, it was a traumatic experience. It really messed me up, and I don't know if I'll be able to drive to work anymore without thinking about it.
Have you seen a doctor since this fatal accident did happen?
Yes, I have seen a doctor. He said that I had no injuries whatsoever except one of my contacts fell out. That's why I'm wearing my glasses.
Was there any injuries in the eyes from this contact leaving your face?
Yeah, I believe there was. I believe I got a little of enzymatic cleaner in my face.
Okay, Nathan, thank you for this wonderful interview. Well, I'm glad to see everything's okay with Nathan. And now, WLIK will return after these messages.
Now, coming from TriStar Pictures, because Columbia couldn't handle a sequel, it's the Pump House Boogeyman 2, the sequel! Be scared crapless as the Boogeyman tries to kill you. Coming to a theater near you.
Coming to a theater near you. Boy, does your ass smell.
Not for long, because I'm using new Ass Don't Smell. Ass Don't Smell uses concentrated fibers and many potpourri scents so that your anus will not reek of complete stench. So use new Ass Don't Smell. Ass don't smell, but your ass doesn't smell.
Exactly. And now we're back here at WLIK, and we hope that you'll stay tuned for our weather report right now.